Okay, so let's unpack this. I mean, just think about how quickly AI has, well, shifted from being sci-fi stuff to basically part of our daily lives.
Absolutely. It's not some far-off concept anymore, is it? It's right here, shaping our news, running our phones.
Exactly. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it, as it gets, deeper integrated, what does that actually mean for us, for our own capabilities?
Yeah, and that's precisely what we're digging into today. This idea of the neo-human.
Neo-human.
Yeah, basically individuals whose, let's say, cognitive, social, maybe even physical functions are being fundamentally boosted or changed by AI.
Right. And to really get our heads around this, we're looking at some, well, pretty fascinating research, a paper that sort of maps out this coevolution.
It pulls together ideas from science, philosophy, ethics, tries to give that fuller picture.
And it focuses on this coevolution idea, humans and AI shaping each other.
Exactly, a reciprocal relationship. Not just us using AI, but this kind of back and forth development. And for you listening, this deep dive is really a shortcut, a way to grasp how this might change how you learn, how you work, how you interact with tech down the line.
Without getting lost in all the jargon.
Hopefully. That's the plan.
Okay, so let's start right there. This term neo-human, what's the core definition we're working with? What's the big shift?
So the research defines a neo-human as someone whose everyday thinking, feeling, or even bodily functions are consistently coupled with AI systems.
Consistently coupled.
Yeah, and that coupling changes their baseline performance. It's not just using a calculator now and then. It's persistent. It alters what we consider their normal level of ability.
That makes sense. So the tech becomes almost like part of how we operate day to day.
Pretty much. And the paper connects this to the extended mind thesis.
Ah, right. The idea that our minds aren't just stuck inside our skulls.
Exactly. That our thinking can actually spread out into the tools we use. Think about your smartphone. It's like an external memory drive for phone numbers, facts, navigation.
Totally rely on it.
Right. And the neo-human idea takes that further. It's not just storing data. It's AI actively shaping our cognitive abilities in real time.
Okay, so this isn't just theory.
Yeah.
Are there actual examples of this happening now? Neo-humans walking among us?
Well, maybe not labeled as such, but yes, the paper gives good examples. Think about AI smart glasses doing real-time language translation.
Okay, yeah.
If you use that constantly for work or travel, it fundamentally changes your ability to communicate across language barriers. That's more than just a handy tool.
It becomes part of your communication skill set in a way.
Precisely. Or surgeons using AI-guided robotics.
Right.
The AI isn't doing the surgery, but it's enhancing the surgeon's precision, their capability during the operation. It transforms how they perform that complex task.
Okay, so we're moving from tech we hold to tech we wear to tech that actively assists in really complex physical ways.
And the paper digs into these physical integrations more. It splits them into sort of wearable augmentation and then the more direct neural interfaces.
Let's start with wearables then. Smart glasses, but maybe more advanced.
Exactly. Think AI-powered glasses giving you contextual prompts, maybe directions overlaid on your vision, that instant translation we mentioned, or even monitoring your biosignals.
Wow. And what drives people to actually use these things? Is it just the tech specs?
Interestingly, no. The research suggests usability, how easy it is to use social presence. Like, does it look weird?
Yeah, the glass hole factor.
Kind of, yeah. And perceived utility, does it actually do something useful for me? Those seem to be bigger drivers than just having the most powerful chip inside. It's got to fit into life.
Makes sense. It needs to be seamless.
hmm
And you mentioned biosignals, like health tracking.
Yes, we're seeing things like frames with built-in biosensors. They could track glucose levels continuously or stress indicators, maybe heart rate variability,
And that data goes where?
usually analyzed in the cloud, which, blurs the line between just wearing glasses and active health monitoring.
Definitely raises questions. Privacy, data ownership.
Big questions.
Okay, so moving beyond wearables, the paper talks about invasive neural interfaces. That sounds much more intense.
It is. We're talking about intracortical brain-computer interfaces,
Hmm?
BCIs.
Implanted in the brain,
Directly implanted, yeah. These devices can read neural signals, say the intention to move a hand or speak, and translate them into commands for external devices.
like controlling a computer cursor or typing.
Exactly. It's shown incredible results for people with paralysis, restoring communication. Some systems have reached speeds up to 62 words per minute just by thinking.
That's genuinely amazing. And the paper calls 2023 the year of BCIs. What was the big deal last year?
Well, there are major steps forward in bidirectional stimulation. So the BCI can not only read from the brain, but also send signals back.
Okay, two-way communication.
Right. And also in adaptive decoding. The AI gets better over time at understanding your specific brain signals, making the control smoother, more intuitive. It learns your brain language, so to speak.
So these aren't just lab experiments anymore. People are actually using these?
Yes, the first human trials of these more advanced implants are happening. They're showing, people learning to use them quickly, stable performance.
But there must be challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Big questions remain about long-term biocompatibility. How does the body react to the implant over years? And practical things like how do you upgrade the tech once it's implanted? It's complex.
Yeah, really complex. And then the paper goes even further, mentioning biohybrid frontiers. What on earth is that?
Okay, this is really cutting-edge stuff. It involves combining lab-grown neural organoids.
Mini brains, basically.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Tiny 3D models of brain tissue grown in a lab, combining those with silicon decoders.
Why would you do that?
Well, the idea, still quite speculative, is you could potentially create interfaces that are maybe self-repairing or that integrate biological processing with silicon processing in a much deeper way.
Self-repairing brain interfaces. Wow. That really points towards a deeper symbiosis, like the paper says.
Exactly. It suggests a future where living tissue might be part of our computational toolkit. So these physical integrations, they really set the scene for how tangible this neo-human idea is becoming.
Okay, so we've got this spectrum, external tools, wearables, implants, even biohybrids. Now, the paper lays out a co-evolutionary model. This feels like the core framework for understanding how this partnership develops.
It really is. It proposes 5 stages, showing how humans and AI kind of ratchet up their capabilities together, influencing each other along the way.
Okay, let's walk through them. Stage 1 is assistance. What does that involve?
Assistance is pretty basic. AI helps with specific isolated tasks like AI in radiology flagging potential issues on an X-ray for the human expert to check.
So the human is still fully in charge. The AI is just a helper tool for one bit.
Exactly. Human has the expertise. AI does pattern recognition for that task. Interaction is limited.
Got it. What's next? Stage 2.
Stage 2 is augmentation. Here, you start seeing bidirectional feedback loops. Think algorithmic trading.
Okay.
Humans might set the strategy, but the AI executes trades fast based on predictive analytics. Then the results of those trades feed back, informing the AI's next move and the human's understanding of the market.
Ah, so it's a two-way street now. We're learning from the AI's actions, too.
Precisely. Then comes stage 3, integration.
How's that different?
Integration is about joint problem solving. Imagine, say, architects using generative AI.
Okay.
The human brings creativity, understanding of context, the why. The AI generates thousands of design options based on parameters. They work together to frame the problem and shape the solution. It's much more collaborative.
The lines are blurring more. Who's doing what becomes less clear-cut. What about stage 4, mutual adaptation?
This is where it gets really dynamic. Think personalized education platforms.
Right.
The AI platform constantly adapts to how you learn best, your pace, your style. But you, the student, also adapt. You learn how to interact with the AI effectively, maybe how to prompt it better, developing meta-learning skills. And you might even tweak the AI's goals to match yours.
So it's continuous adaptation on both sides. The AI learns me, I learn the AI.
Exactly. It's a constant feedback loop influencing both human and AI development.
Okay, and the final stage, symbiosis. Sounds ultimate.
It's presented as the point where human and AI contributions might become almost indistinguishable. The example given is like a truly smart habitat or ecosystem.
A smart home that really understands you.
Yeah, or even a smart city. Humans might focus on, say, higher-level goals or self-reflection within that system, while the AI handles complex operations with deep context awareness and autonomy. Separating who did what becomes really difficult.
A truly seamless partnership. Now, a key point the paper makes is that these capability gains aren't just one way, right?
Yeah.
It's not just AI getting better.
Absolutely not. Humans evolve too. For example, as AI becomes more explainable, as it can tell us why it made a certain decision.
Right, opening the black box.
That doesn't just improve the AI's accuracy, because we can debug it better, it also builds our trust and helps us learn how to work with the AI more effectively. We get better at collaborating.
But there's a flip side mentioned too, isn't there? This risk of capability atrophy,
Yeah.
losing skills.
Yes, that's a really important warning. If we just hand tasks over to AI without thinking, especially tasks that require critical skills and the automation isn't, well designed, we risk those human skills fading away.
Like mental muscles getting weaker from disuse.
Pretty much. Over-reliance can lead to skill fade. It's a definite risk we need to manage.
Hugely important.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Yeah.
How is all this playing out in the bigger picture? Society, the economy?
Well, the impacts are already being felt. If you look at labor and productivity, some studies show real gains, like in customer support centers.
Yeah.
AI tools helping agents find answers faster, handle more complex queries. One study found augmented workers handled significantly more tickets per hour and actually reported lower turnover.
Interesting. So higher efficiency, maybe better job satisfaction in that case?
In that specific context, yeah. But it's not always that straightforward.
How so?
There was a big meta-analysis looking across many studies. It suggested hybrid human-AI teams are often great for creative tasks, brainstorming, where you benefit from the AI generating lots of ideas.
Okay.
But for tasks that are very rule-based, structured, sometimes the hybrid teams actually underperformed compared to just humans.
Really? Why would that be?
Maybe confusion over roles, or the AI introducing errors, or just the complexity of coordinating. The point is, the effectiveness really depends on the type of work. It's nuanced.
That's crucial. It's not a one-size-fits-all boost. What about innovation? Is AI making us more creative?
It certainly has the potential to accelerate things. Generative models can churn out designs, ideas, prototypes way faster than humans could alone. It expands the possibility space.
But does it replace the human spark?
The paper argues no. It stresses that human insight, our understanding of context, our ability to define what problems are actually worth solving, that remains critical. AI might generate options, but we provide the direction, the judgment, the so what. It's complementarity, not substitution.
Amplifying creativity, not replacing it. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, with all this integration, even into our bodies potentially, the ethical side, the governance, that must be huge.
Oh, absolutely massive. The paper flags several critical areas. One is value alignment.
Making sure the AI wants what we want, basically.
In simple terms, yeah. Ensuring AI goals align with human values, societal norms. And that often means building in ways for human feedback, maybe participatory design, so it's not just tech developers deciding the goals.
Right. Keeping humans in the loop on values. What else?
The digital divide is a big one. If access to this kind of powerful augmentation tech is unequal,
Which it likely will be at first.
then it could massively widen the gap between the haves and have-nots, exacerbating existing inequalities.
A future split between the augmented and the unaugmented. That's a scary thought.
It's a serious concern. Then there's the question of the moral status of AI itself. As these systems get more autonomous, make more independent decisions, what rights or responsibilities do they have? Or do we assign to them?
Yeah, deep philosophical territory there. And we circle back to that skill loss idea, the capability atrophy.
Exactly. It's an ethical concern, too. We need approaches that keep humans in command, able to understand, intervene, override, to prevent overdelegation and maintain those vital human skills.
And for the really invasive stuff, like the brain implants, special ethical rules there.
Definitely. The paper points to guidance, stressing the need for incredibly robust, informed consent for clinical trials.
As usual.
Arguably, yes, because it's so invasive and potentially life-altering, people need to really understand the risks, the benefits, what happens long-term, even what happens if the implant needs to be removed, which might not always be straightforward. Post-explantation support is crucial.
These are clearly massive challenges. Does the paper offer any concrete ideas on how we should handle this? Policy recommendations.
It does suggest a few things. One is using adaptive regulatory sandboxes.
Sandboxes, like a safe space to play.
Kind of. Controlled environments where companies can test new AI and neurotech innovations with regulatory oversight, but with some flexibility. It allows innovation to happen without waiting for perfect regulations, while still managing risks.
Fostering progress safely. Makes sense. What else?
Investing public money strategically, putting grants towards research specifically looking at human-AI complementarity. How do we make the partnership work best, rather than just aiming for full automation everywhere?
Smart. Focus the funding on collaboration.
Yeah. And also, mandating impact assessments for high-stakes stuff. Before you deploy a really powerful AI system or a new neurodevice widely, you'd have to formally assess its potential societal ethical impacts,
Building in foresight, proactive rather than reactive,
hopefully. And the final big one is education.
preparing people for this future.
Exactly. Integrating AI literacy and neurotechnology literacy, too, into schools, universities, maybe even workplace training. People need to understand this tech, not just how to use it, but its implications so they can engage critically.
So education is really fundamental to navigating all this responsibly.
Hmm.
Okay, this has been, wow, really comprehensive look at this neo-human concept and the whole coevolution journey with AI.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But just to recap quickly,
Yeah.
we've seen AI moving from just helping us out to becoming deeply integrated, sometimes even physically.
Right.
We looked at that five-stage model assistance, augmentation, integration, mutual adaptation, symbiosis.
Showing that evolving partnership.
Right, and highlighting the potential upsides, enhanced abilities, but also the risks, like losing skills, the digital divide, and the massive ethical and governance questions we need to tackle.
Exactly. And the key thing, I think, for you listening is that this neo-human idea isn't just some wild sci-fi prediction. It's happening now in pieces, and it's going to increasingly shape how you interact with technology and maybe even how you see your own potential.
It really brings it home. Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. As we get more and more tangled up with AI, what are the truly essential human skills, the core ethical principles that we absolutely need to double down on individually and as a society? What do we need to protect and cultivate to make sure this incredibly powerful symbiosis actually ends up being a good thing for humanity in the long run? It's not just about the tech's power, is it?
No, it's about the choices we make about how we use it and who we become alongside it.